Thank you, Pilsky. And now we've got ourselves the big question. We had some dough being needed. We had some one-sided punching bags going on. But the question is, are both teams coming over here, fists balled up and sleeves rolled up? Griv, we're going to have to sit through and see how exactly it goes. And maybe you can take off your tinfoil hat now.
Yeah, perhaps. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe the pistol going to give us a bit of a taste. And that first headshot landed at long range onto Flit. Mutiris with a nasty bit of damage. Sortie. Nice little position here, but caught in transition. That is very unfortunate timing. Short going to be given up. There's not really an awful lot gained for it either. No real information. You know they're in and around middle. No damage. That is a perfect frag for Saw, to be honest. And they now have pressure again from Short, catching Almeza in transition once again. Oh my goodness, they have just squeezed this CT defense into a corner and then into a pulp. They have absolutely demolished them. The one throwaway frag at the end, but that is probably the best pistol round you could hope for.
And they maintain that 3 out of 3 of the pistol rounds that they've played so far, they haven't just won on Saw, they have dominated. Yes. So that's not a team that you can necessarily just dismiss and say, oh, pistols are 50-50. No, there's definitely something going on here with these players. But now, can Stododo get something going on with that scout? Misses his shot initially, but information is key. And information is what Jerry has found. Jerry was the other player earlier on today who was able to get to that 20 kill mark up against FBX, and now question is, can he do that again? It was a 16-2 before. If you start to win out this Force Spy, well, maybe not a 16-2, but you're setting up yourself very nicely.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I think we've touched on a little bit, by the way. I really do think it is worth noting coming into this second map after a 29-round epic that Forza have been playing a lot of Counter-Strike today. Fatigue is going to set in for sure. So certainly something to consider. Nice early pickup coming in from Mutiris here onto Almeza. Just going to ease some of that pressure. Lovely stuff. Still do need to be careful. Scouts and Deegs in play when you're going for the aptly named long area of the map. Certainly can be kind of dangerous, but go for it they will. Taking it nice and slow. Trying to force an error from Forza here, some kind of a wide swing, some kind of a Hail Mary through the smoke. Nothing coming as yet. They're going to go for the cross, and oh my goodness, so many flashes all over the shop on both sides of the equation. Flit feel like he could have got more there. There's a double kill from Just, one in from Rome. Jumping Scout is attempted. I think one of the shots landed, but no frag for Zorti. Oh man, once again, another opportunity early this time rather than late on where perhaps an individual has somewhat fluffed it. The Deagle of Almeza, like I say, could have found more.
And that comes despite the fact that Saw's walking onto a stack of Forza with 4 players on the stack itself. That's the best possible scenario you can hope for in Deagles. And, well, you know what isn't the best possible scenario? When your player starts to get stuck on the head of another one, and your short boost ends up being pretty damn long. Almazer's gone down in the meanwhile, so, you know, that little tricky little play that you wanted to go for into short probably won't be fighting you too much, as they've gotten full control of the A-long area, and Mutiris is still lurking in the background, waiting to see if there's any pesky CT who wants to make his way through. And unfortunately, he looks away, so Flit will be the bug that comes in and gets a kill somehow or the other.
Yeah, decent damage here. The round itself, yeah, not going to happen. Kind of close on that last one, to be fair. Just almost getting taken down. Already up to 9 kills and has not yet died, by the way. But relatively clean stuff. This, of course, is what we are looking for. Arky again on the AWP. This is curious. Okay, no, he swapped across the Stododo. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, my bad.
I was really confused for a second.
Yeah. I think it was that split second I've looked towards the buy and then I saw him on the AWP and I looked away. That is a great frag from Stododo. And you can see why they've given the AWP across to him. I was a bit too quick to jump to the conclusion, and Mr. Stododo reminds me why, of course, he is their primary AWPer.
That combination of a missed Molotov, the CT choosing to take pit control to fight for long, and the fact that Stododo doesn't send a player to the blue container despite not having the best spawn ends up giving them advantage. Generally speaking, when you don't actually have the very, very best spawn on a player, you don't want to take the long pick with an AWP. Yeah. But because Stododo, who is their AWPer, isn't a player who you want to squeeze into blue container anyhow. They decide that he can go for a late peek regardless and see if he can win that out. And that ends up giving them this massive advantage where the CTs have also used a lot of their key utility to actually get that long control initially.
Great little angle here for Jerry. Or maybe not the best decision making though. Going to go aggressive. It pays off for one. And he's able to get away. Roman maybe fluffing things up ever so slightly. Great Molotov comes in, but they're not through the smoke fast enough. Kenzie is so very blind. Has he been spotted yet? No, he will be now as he drops the bomb. However, almost getting a second. Saw once again, fundamentals are sound, making sure to get the trades in, but it's Jerry through the smoke that's going to make all the difference. But no, again, very quickly dealt with. Not able to possibly spray transfer across onto the low HP just. It is kept in an even scenario time and time again. Flit tries to go for it. That might be the frag that really puts the final nail in the coffin. Awkward spray down, but it's Almeza to come out on top. All left on to Just. The flash is not sound, neither is the second. Just gets it on the timing, and Saw move up to 4.
We're seeing Just being 13-2-0, including a 4K he just got in a situation which was a 3v3. These aren't low impact kills, by the way. These are very high impact kills. And he's got a 246 ADR. Sure, it's 4 rounds, so the average is skewed. But if you want to start off to make a statement, mate, that's a hell of a pen you're holding.
Not a stat you see very often, that high of an ADR. And now the question is, how long does he keep it going? Certainly not the player that I expected to step up in such a massive way. Definitely capable, but, you know, based off of our first map and the way that people are playing right now, certainly figured it would be someone different. Not an awful lot coming here. Pretty slow round on both sides of the equation. Bit more of a mid-heavy stack for Forze. Do like that. You can rotate very, very quickly indeed across to these bomb sites. Would be nicer for them, I think, if it was B, but all the same, they can get to the A side of things relatively quickly. The flash through the smoke is ineffective. Stododo finds that one, certainly, I think, over the top of it. You know, the kill feed a little misleading. Meanwhile, there's a boost on the other side of the smoke. They're so very blind, but still an opportunity to find a head or two if they play their cards right.
Flit is waiting, and he's definitely waiting long times. Just finally goes down, his first death in the game. Could this also be Saw's first round loss? That's a big question, but with this much of a firepower disparity and Stododo being nestled away into the pit, it becomes a lot harder. Muris, meanwhile, tagged up, is being distracted by the jumping scout, and they wanted the player to push through the smoke, but Zortis got the kill himself. Unfortunately, Roman has been left to his own devices because of it, and Roman, left on 8 HP, has found 3 kills so far and will not expose himself. Saw keep 3 players alive, so their economy is also being bolstered at the same time. Fortunately for Forze, though, it isn't untouchable yet.
Yeah, yet being the optimal word. This time around, by the way, obviously we're into this replay of a very, very nice bit of control from Roman. But a much, much earlier pause. I want to say we didn't see a single pause from Forze.
We saw one.
Yeah, maybe
no, it was from Saw, actually. It was from
yeah,
Saw.
I think it was, right? When the lead was under threat and all that towards the tail end. I would imagine this one is from Forze, so certainly.
You know what this reminds me of, Scriv? This reminds me of that one time Carrigan had that insane BM pause, and baby, it's a Saw timeout. It's a Saw timeout. We just got told.
No.
I don't think it's BM. I think it's actually a really good time to take a timeout because, you know, Forze, this is their first round where they have full utility and full weaponry. And I love to see that little, hey, what do we actually do over here? But now Almazer, he's been able to catch out a player, but the flashes will keep him blind. And with the Molotov coming in onto him, he has to reposition, take a peek out sooner, be a bit more comfortable. But juicy Gander nade goes in, and that is a lot of damage dealt. Almazer more than content to follow up with some more pepper into his meal, as he is looking to get a feast of kills. Zorte smoked off, can't support, and Arky's got the frag and backed off, still on 1 HP, and he's killed his teammate. I mean, Arky, if you're on 1 HP, you shouldn't be the guy killing your teammate. That's all I'm saying.
That's rough, man, because they deal with Almeza so well, to be honest. Smoking the corner off, not getting too overzealous, multiple Molotovs. But there is an argument to be made that perhaps a few too many resources used.
Also, Scrub, I'm so sorry I'm interrupting you. I also just realized that there wasn't an assist in there. So Arky quite literally just double headshotted Muteris directly.
Yeah.
Muteris didn't get tagged up by anyone.
In the chaos, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's rough. Oh, I like this angle. Obviously, Arky on 1 HP, but Just is also relatively low. So I think playing this kind of a tough one, it makes him difficult to trade, and in theory, going to mow down that first player. Oh. Yeah, that is brilliantly read. Obviously, the execution of it from Stododo is so clean, but the fact that they send him out full HP first is so well done. However, the rotations are here very, very quickly indeed, but 2 quick headshots from the masterful firepower that remains on this Saw lineup at the moment. 2-on-1, all down to Flit. There's no kit available for him. There's one just on the site off to the right of your screen, but no one giving him anything right now. He's going to go towards tunnels. Does manage to find that frag. The attempt to the trade comes in, just not quite able to find it. Needs to buy time to go down, and there's plenty of time with this kit to get the defuse in, even to pick up an AK while he's in transition. I think they will be kicking themselves if they let that one slip.
At the same time, you also have to keep in mind that was a 3 versus 5, I believe, or maybe a 3 versus 4, where you're able to bring it back down to a 1-on-2. And sure, you should have won that, but the shots that Stododo and Just are able to get in a position where Arky is immediately picked off because he has his knife out while he's running over, which is, again, understandable. You're on 1 HP. You want to get to a safe one-and-done position as soon as possible. But he is picked off. It's a 3-on-2. But the immediate frags coming out from Stododo and Just are beautifully done. Now, though, a faster play towards B initially, potentially to force out rotations because their players are still actually headed to mid.
Yeah, applying a bit of pressure, I do like this, rather than just, you know, running their way towards long. But look how much chip damage, or chunk damage, I should say. Zorti up on the boost as well. Able to find the first frag. In theory, the first of many. Muteris and Just so very low. Yeah, Flit through the door, just melts Muteris, and just 20 HP. This is really not looking too good. Stododo's going for the short, but I think it's hard to tell. These A1S's in play. Maybe where the opponents are coming from. It's a desperate Hail Mary play from Stododo. It doesn't work out. Almeza's got a flank in as well. Arky's like, oh, I got long control, but they're cool. They're happy to let him have this. The one frag goes by the wayside. Should be able to trade him. They do indeed. Zorti does not miss. And Forze move up to 2 cleanly as well.
That's a fantastic wood chipper setup going on in mid, where you're just peeking in 1 by 1 from different players in different angles, and every time they're just getting a kill, and Saw's desperately trying to adjust, saying, oh, there's a guy over there. Oh shit, there's a guy now boosted up on short. What are we doing? Oh, the guy underneath the boost just came, wide swung us and killed us. Okay, it's okay. We've got to take care of short. But no, Jerry's now in mid, watching short. And when you finally smoke off Xbox and you're thinking, okay, let me breathe, clutch it out, Almazer just comes in from behind and backstabs you. That's a great setup coming through from Forze over there. But the best thing about it is it puts Saw onto an eco.
Absolutely. But creating the chaos and knowing what to do in it, right? Very, very well done. And super hard to deal with, as we see. And we'll take a look into this round. Ooh, Arky with a nice frag onto Zorti. I'm going to get the bomb down here as well. I was going to say, moving in from short is one of the easiest ways to get the bomb down. What is going on? Glocks! What is happening? It's all onto Almeza. 1-on-4 does get 2 very quick headshots under the pressure. And it's certainly not impossible here. He's left on half HP. An M4 recovered from Muteris. And a nasty little angle. Yeah, not going to be expected at all. Not very conventional at all. And Saw have stolen, in theory, the hardest round of the game so far. A Deagle and a P250. Maybe a flash in there as well. But really not an awful lot to work with. And yet, they come away with it. Love this. The zoom cam for Mr. Arky.
And so are wanted men. This is how they were able to take away that first map too. This is how they were able to secure it with an eco win where they should never have had one. And now look at this. The shoe is on the other foot, or maybe the other foot is now barefoot. Forze don't have anything to wear. They don't have the money to buy themselves shoes. All they have is an AWP. And can they even do anything with it?
I'm gonna have to. It is not massively desperate, right? It's not like he's spent more cash than anyone else on the team. But all the same, it is kind of putting most of your chips in. You're not going all in. Maybe like 75% of the cash that you've got. And to me, that's kind of risky to not have it into the next rifle round because, of course, unless they win this one, there will be no AWP in the next round. Or maybe if he saves, right? It's not completely out of the question, but it is certainly difficult. Ooh. Nice position from Almeza. Somewhat in behind enemy lines, bit of information coming in, but then Saw not making an awful lot of noise, and well, Almeza's gone, look guys, I've seen a couple people, I've heard a couple people, I think they're going A, let's set up for that. Look, Stododo's at long, he's just killed me, but actually it's B. And yes, Zorti has found a frag, but I feel like to no avail. I think you have to take what you have into the next round. Maybe Jerry and Flit look for some exits, but Kenzie's not taking any damage. Nice and cheap head armor. I was going to say free, but that's untrue. And Zorti, of course, wants to hold on to this AWP. So Saw doing a really good job. Nice little bit of the old bait and switch. The distractionary play towards long pays off, and it ends up being a much quieter, much simpler kind of round than first expected. Stododo is playing with fire here, does need to be careful. His head almost on a silver platter for Kenzie. That is such an awkward fight, but he does come away with it in the end and retains the AWP of his own. And like I said, Kenzie had armor and cheap head armor into this next round, so that's certainly something to consider. It's not the end of the world. But as the saying is, for 2020 at the very least, maybe not into 2021, but it is what it is. It's still a decent buy. It's still a decent buy. He's lacking a bit of utility, which would have been nice into this round. But it's not the end of the world. He is playing a tough spot right now over on that B-bomb site, playing the anchor. So actually saying it's not the end of the world, I feel like the utility really would have helped him out.
I mean, that's always the case in the spot like that. You want to have a little bit of that something extra. Maybe flash yourself out. Maybe smoke yourself into a one-way. It's something to work off of. And you can see utility is something that Forze are continually going to have very little of heading into this round. And so they've set up. They're ready to take mid. The question is this going to be a wood chipper? Or is this a machine that stopped working? Stododo starts off strong, gets himself the first, and now Jerry has to pick up the pace while Muterus looks to take that very same duel again. They move forward, they smoke it off. Jerry can't get the kill, and he's been mollied into a corner.
Almost taken down, I would say, lucky to be alive. But his steadfast hold of mid has paid off. And they've decided to back away and give the A-bomb site a bit of a go. Muteris creeping under the crosshair, or the scope, I should say, of Zorti. Certainly keep an eye on that. Could make a difference. Flash is not sound. Almeza with his textbook angle, getting a double kill, once again forcing them away. Zorti, meanwhile, does not matter. Muteris will not catch him off guard. And now a 4-on-2 ensues. Stododo and Just, certainly the loudest players so far, but Just only good for one. Stododo, meanwhile, is trying his best to move in towards the B-bomb site. What is Kenzie going to do here? Low HP, I would say, going to allow him the opportunity, but Stododo's really taking his time. Needs to be careful where he chooses to plant. Under window. Oh, maybe if he'd have been a bit tighter, would have been more solid. Doesn't even get the bomb down in the end. And did he? No, okay, he survived. Or, wait, went down during time. Yep, that's a hard one to navigate. But all the same, he's not going to lose the loss bonus, which is also really weird to say. Nonetheless, solid hold from Forze.
And that's where Saw maybe just out mind gaming themselves after they forced back the CT player, after they've gotten that mid control. Maybe you say, yeah, let's go mid. You know, something to it. But you know, just expecting perhaps Forze to rotate a little bit more quickly rather than going for what looked to be an A-sided setup to just try and save, honestly. And they lose out a bit too much. Now, they still have a bye, but you're treading dangerous waters, to say the least. You're getting into territory where if you lose, you're back on the Ecos, and although Ecos have been quite good to Saw, I don't know if it would happen again.
Nice bit of early damage once again. Just that kind of posturing, you know, the shoulders barging in, trying to just force a little bit of control on either side of the equation. Ooh. This A-hold. Need to be careful. Zorti in that ever dangerous spot towards Car. Saw, though, looking to indeed hit their way in. Distraction towards Long, but it's actually short that's the hit. Zorti's not really going to be able to get his early opportunity, and you can see some of the nerves kind of coming in. The flash comes through. Oh, and he misses the shot. Therefore, not really able to go for the repeak. Nade goes in. Decent enough damage, but the A-bomb site has fallen.
Not just that, it's fallen when you've got a double op set up on the CT side. If Jerry can't get an instant kill, I feel like you have to call for a save. The problem is Zorte is also in a position where if the T's decide to retreat back to A-long and you lose one of those ops, it becomes very dangerous. Now Sedodo with the first great angle to maintain as he looks for more, sees the head, and as he flicks forward, the flash will force him not to fire, and Almazar, Kenzie, and Flit are taking control back. Roman still in position, but he's been taken down. It's all just, and he can't get it done. Great retake despite the ops, and it all comes off of one singular flashbang.
The A-bomb site in a situation like that, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, or perhaps a phrase that people of today would understand a little better is kind of an Uno reverse card, right? Where taking control of it is
That's
relatively
very much
easy.
like a early millennial thing. I'm just saying, people of today are probably, I don't know, maybe that's not the game they're playing anymore.
Yeah, well, it feels a bit worse to say young people of today, doesn't it? Because then I would associate myself as an old people of today. But either way, right, the idea is that it's easy to gain control of from that short position, but then it's kind of hard to keep control of it, right? And that's what happens there. Solid, like you said, simple, but still really, really good utility coming in from the CT side of things. And that just sets them up. They're able to use the bodies and essentially play like a T side. Clean trades, quick information, bit of mechanical stuff, holding some angles you expect people to be. And they do a really, really solid job of mounting the retake. Half buy into this one. They have struggled against these on this very map. And, well, Mutiris is opening things up once again. It was Arky last time around. That's a big nade from Zorti to hold things down. Really well done. Second one coming through from Flit. I believe the P250 jumping is not going to find it the first time, but he gets the Kaylee style second time around. And he will also get the defuse and the 3K start of the show for Forza. But I think Sora will be happy with the bomb plant.
You're really happy with not just the bomb plant, but the fact that you're keeping Forza somewhat honest economically. Now, the problem is honesty only goes as far as it takes you on the scoreboard. And right now, it's not taking so very far. So you have to start to wonder, at what point does the economy just start to be a non-factor? Well, it's always going to have a buy in this round regardless. Now, they do have a bit more utility on Stradota because of it. That's always nice to have, but he needs to find some kills now. Just on 18 has definitely cooled down a lot in the later half of this half. Kenzie traded away, but Roman's taking it all the way home. Now a 4 versus 3, and as long as they can avoid one op and take the other down, this should be a great round for Saw. Zorti also doesn't have a smoke, so he can actually molly it off in that position fairly easily.
Yeah, very true. Need to follow up kind of deal. It's somewhat risky, and you can kind of see that he knows that. He's playing the less optimal back end of the car, as it were. Maybe also maneuvering in and around this smoke, but in just a second here, it's all going to start to pop off. He wants the stronger angle as that smoke goes down. Stododo. Oh, going to change where he's looking. Zorti is hiding away. Maybe indeed using his teammates as bait. There you go. He comes up. Clean little flick onto the first, the second as well. That 30% window looking solid. Backing off from the Molotov, and he does not miss any shot. 3 for 3. Maybe has set the rest of the team up. It's all going to be onto Mutiris to recover things back for Saw.
How many times have we seen Saul get the great round off the back of this spawn, know what to do, know how to take control of the side initially, and then second guess themselves? Yeah. It's so many rounds where they just lose focus. And then over here, they're trying to be so sneaky that they're not using a Molotov early on. They're not trying to flash out that angle. They're not trying to find anything. Why? Because they're saying, oh, we don't want them to know and stack. The issue is at the CT side, it's already so highly prioritized to stack because you want to save if they've got B control. Because frankly speaking, you're not retaking a 2 versus 5 if it's on B side.
Yeah, I think summed up very, very well. Right, that's kind of what catches them off. Again, overthinking things. I feel if they play it a little more simply, send the rifle in first alongside that Molotov, then it's an easier kind of round for them. Flashing in towards the B-bomb site, though. Oh, we know how this one goes. Kenzie somehow has snuck in. They've not checked him. What is going on? He's going to get 2 immediately off the bat. The information is all over for him as well. Third coming in. Oh, so disaster after disaster, it feels like. That last round, not good. That round is a little unlucky, but still not good. This is really, really turning into a troublesome end to the first half.
T-Swift, this is why Pilsky insults us as play-by-plays. Not good. But it's true. That's really what it was. Good old Pilsky. But Flit, also good old him. He gets himself 1 early kill, and although Mutrus is good for the trade, he's not particularly happy with his health afterwards. Okay, Sododo peeks out, takes down Flit, finds himself an AWP, but now he has to find himself an Almazar who's coming from the side, takes down the bomb. Fortunately for them, the bomb actually drops in suicide, so it's recoverable. But Zorte, he's starting to cover his teammate as he moves past, and Roman peeks out, is seen, is spotted, and Zorte now needs to get this kill on a Stododo, who will try to flick up, but he loses his chance, and Kenzie loses his duel. A 1 versus 3, and where Roman seemed to have a good idea of the pre-fire, he also has a great idea of where Almazar is, so he rushes over, wants to get a plant in, but again, that second guessing, that double thinking, and Zorte has been given enough time to peek over. Now, instead of anything else, they know exactly where he is, and Roman peeks out. Great shot as well, but it just isn't enough. So, despite a great start to the half, we'll go into the second with a bit of a disadvantage, and we'll be back after a short break to see whether they can recover.
Paradise, the sun never goes, it's a feeling. We watch the waves wash over the shore, the horizon was blinding. This could be the end of the world as we know it. Oh, this could be the end of the world as we know it. And we never thought we'd get this far. I'm gonna stay true. These songs I wrote for you. Oh, they make me blue. They make me blue. What did you say to me? You wanted to be free. Do you believe? I want you to believe.
Welcome back to half number 2 of map number 2. It indeed has been a good day for Saw when they get off to the start, when they get off to that strong start. But where they've fallen ever so slightly, bit faster into map 2, is keeping that consistency, making sure that they are adaptable and unpredictable moving forwards. It has not been an easy road in that sense. They managed to just about clean things up on their own map pick of Nuke. And now we move, of course, into Dust 2, half number 2. And well, as you can see, Forze actually pulled it back and brought us to an 8-7 half. Once again, joined by Tea Time as we move into the second half. See what Forze have got. It was T-sides over on Nuke. Maybe they can replicate that.
Well, we'll have to see whether or not it is that tail. Because now it's all about, do Forze start to overthink? And this is where I actually don't think that's ever going to be an issue. Jerry's very decisive in-game leader. And Zorte, well, he started off a nice little quick tap onto Just. Now, responses are also being felt by Arky as now Forze continue upwards to A long. Arky trying to fight back, needs those kills, but Kenzie is finding them instead. Sees the player in short, but Stadoto walks through the smoke, cuts off Flit next to Car, and now it's all up to that boost, but that boost has been taken down.
Read like a book. Absolutely read like a book. And now Mesa goes flying in. Jerry will steal the final one away from him, but all the same, a 3K for Almeza. Pistol's looking good, and that's where the prophecy changes. Of course, if you did join us at the start of the map, Tea Time mentioned Saw were 3-4-3 and dominant in that sense. This time, though, into number 4, it's Forze to pick things up. So certainly curious to see whether that has caused a big shift. 4 rifles.
Yeah, very little utility, so you have to start wondering, is this another one of those Saw rounds where they managed to run away with things as Jodo misses his flashbang? So I'm guessing that's probably a no. Nade, smokes, the works, all going forward. And Saw don't have the same response that Forze typically did. They are, you know, a little bit more patient, waiting things out. But what a kill from Stadoto. He's found a small little gap in the smoke. And this time, again, another tag. Kenzie brought down low. And Muterus is in a great position to capitalize from that one flashbang that Rome wants to throw. In the meanwhile, from Car, it's Almazer, who can be taken down quickly as well. His head was spotted moving past, but Flit on the lurk is great. Stadoto is better. He's just better. The great headshot, and Almaza in the meanwhile, sure, finally takes down Stadoto, but you're still in such a tricky position as Roman, and Just could have maybe taken it through, but Forze do still come out on top, and it all comes down to the late round kill from Flit onto Muterus.
Yeah, no one looking towards short, unfortunately. He was just hidden away at Gandalf, hoping to capitalize on being hidden away. Everybody's towards long, but no. Very well played. Forze being patient, not getting caught off by the Deagles. It's something that we see very, very often. You lose that head early on into your push or whatever, and everybody tries to overcompensate. Suddenly there's 3 more CTs that come out of the woodwork. So really well done, in my opinion. And they will get themselves cleanly into this next round. Flash coming in. There's a lot of bodies in and around middle here of both sides. Nade over the top, gonna do some damage, actually manages to drop one just meanwhile on the P250, finding another, finding a couple, finding a third. What has happened? All onto Kenzie. He'll recover the bomb, but it should not have come to this. They dealt with the Deagles so well, and then into the free round, they perhaps get a bit overzealous with those peaks that I was talking about. It's the complete opposite, the complete antithesis of the past round. He's gonna go for it, and Muterus is set up and ready. But just, what a bloody round on that P250. Oh my God.
You can't keep doing this. You can't keep getting away with these wins. So
you get one a series, man.
Yeah, you got 2 this time. You got 1 in the first half as well. It's just, yeah, not too shabby from Saw on their pistols. You thought that you can count them out once the Deagles were gone, but they come in just as strong with the inferior pistols. Hell, why am I even calling them inferior at this point? But what's going to be really interesting over here, though, is the fact that Forze are actually in a very, very poor financial situation. Normally, if you have a couple of SMGs, you know, you're saving a few extra players. In that second round, even if it's a force buy against you, you can still pull out probably like a close to full buy in the third, even if you get force, even if you get eco. This time, because of the amount of players they lost and because they went for 5 rifles, that isn't true at all. So, significantly weaker buy, and Muris is looking to exploit Zorte down in mid on that scout. Oh, they made noise. They made noise. Yeah. Muris knows. Stododa's also looking over here. This is a double peak. This is potentially even a triple peak if the CTs from B start to move over. And as they will do so, Flit now will be seen. It's a B line straight to B. And Flit, well, he's going to be taken down soon. But no, actually finds the entry. Just Stododa and Muris have gotten the kills in the meanwhile. And Forze, well, they haven't given up yet. They have the site.
Certainly not impossible. B-bomb site. Infamous. They're all also coming from ramp. There will be a quick reposition, quick readjustment over towards tunnels to try and give this a go. Do indeed have a kit available. Almeza got to be careful. Okay, gonna hide away, choosing to play things once again kind of safe. Perfect timing though. Oh my goodness. Clean double coming in. Zorti as well, gonna deal with Arky easily. Almeza. Hello, sir. That is incredible CSGO, you know, the look certainly on his side to catch one unawares and the other with a nade in hand, but all the same, that is a massive play to pull Forze back from the brink.
And how many rounds have we seen where Almazar has been the guy to save them time and time and time again? If you want to know the answer to that, it's actually 5. And yes, I've been keeping count. Now, though, you're in a position as Forze, which is unlike Nuke, where you actually have a lead, and you are looking to keep it going, keep it extended. This could very well be the third map incoming soon, which would also be the first time these two teams have had a 3-map series in, what, about 6 months or so. It's always a 2-0 in favor of Saw. Forza never take a map off of them, at least in the recent history that has been coming through. Now, though, this time it's an easier anti-eco. Sure, there's some damage dealt, but, you know, no kills had.
Not yet. Still a Deagle in play. Couple low HP bars. But yeah.
Okay. That wasn't a low HP bar.
Yeah. What can you do about that, man? That is a new monitor for Flit in the morning for sure. Gonna have to try and find a replacement fast, but no, Jesus, I don't know what more to add to that. That is just one of those things that you can't really break down. He's just absolutely demolished him, so he has. Does get taken down though. No AK saved into the next round. Just a nice one for the highlight reel, I suppose. This is where it all comes down to, though. This is kind of the big breaking point right now for Saw. They would need to mount the incredible comeback that we were expecting from Forze on Nuke if they are indeed to take this series 2-0. Unless they can win this one, I think this is, you know, the floodgate kind of round. And it's a relatively good buy. It's not the best, just I do like it. Sacrificing down to the FAMAS, even though he is one of the highest fraggers on the team, to facilitate that kit. Very, very important indeed.
And what's even more important is that Stododa can actually start getting involved. This guy's not been present on the map the way we are expecting him to be on Dust 2. You know, a lot of the strength of Saw comes from him, and now it's all about Zorte. He's taken down just initially. The top fragger's gone. Kenzie lurking in the background. Will get another and looks for more. There's 2 players who are locked away in a 2v4. Muris knows that the only option of saving is to actually find Kenzie and kill him as well. Otherwise, the flanks will begin. Otherwise, the T's are gonna hunt. And you know what happens when T's hunt 4 versus 2? Either you get a really flashy, kind of useless highlight, or you end up losing your weapons.
Jame time.
Sure.
Maybe. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. To be fair, he's staying alive. So there you go. There is that. And keeping the economy modest, as we like to say. Certainly not spiraling out of control yet for the T side. So Although, like I said, a very key turning point, it's still kind of within reaching distance. You know, they're hanging on by a thread. Not quite, you know, feeling inevitable just yet, but it's now a much more arduous kind of battle that they have to fight, and no room for mistakes at all, I feel, at least until you bring it back to like a 13-11, 13-12 kind of scoreline. What's the plan here? We're going to boost over the smoke. Unfortunately, no one really showing. Zorti, unbeknownst to him, I don't know if that's on purpose, but very, very safe angle off to the side, so he's not going to get spotted at all.
Now goes out the smoke. Just is waiting. Just is watching. Just is killing. And he's looking for more and more blood as they start to move over to that very same B-bomb site. But bomb is not there yet. As they've lost a man, they're suddenly wondering, God, no, not this again. Not the Deagles, not the Pistols, not the Scouts. Roman, well, at least he's got some damage.
I guess it's an info gathering mission. The play on towards short doesn't really work. That flash is very, very obvious just as well, using that information effectively. Oof, another tag does come through, but Zorse going to drop him. That's the B bomb site open. Definitely a chance.
No smokes.
Get the bomb down at the very least. Yeah, it's a risky cross here. They are ready and waiting as well, all three of them. What do? Yep. You've got to fight your way out. They know it. Jerry going through. Missed shot at the very least, but he does get taken down by Arky. Thank God for the backup there.
Oh my God. Makes up for it.
I mean, I love the action, but yeah, that shot is very, very nice indeed. It's a crazy kind of play. Not going to work out, of course.
Yeah. Again, these incredibly crucial kills that just seem to be so avoidable. You just need to smoke off at the foot of tunnels. There's these plays which are coming through from Saw, and I want to commend them from it, and I absolutely do. You know, hitting that shot, it's no mean feat. But the fact of the matter is, if you want to chuck a Molotov over to that side, there's a better way to do it.
Well, in with another buy. This is a rough one for sure. It's really interesting, the dichotomy of the two CT sides. Honestly, we had, you know, just the one anchor in the form of Kensi over towards that B bomb site for Forza. Meanwhile, two players firmly planted in, and they both remain alive for a little while longer. Just unfortunately caught between a rock and a hard place. It's all onto Roman. He's good for one. There's one inside that smoke. He gets another somehow. How is he not taken down by the tunnel player? Flit is kicking himself and may even get a little bit of a slap on the wrist for that one, because that was kind of a freebie for him, and he throws it away. 3-on-2 on the retake.
And over here, you're starting to see that it's the same 2v3 that Saw have lost so many times over. This time, though, Almazar is dead, and that's the big man clutch machine who you're normally watching out for. Arky finds the last, and look, I have to be slightly critical of this round from Saw, despite that beautiful defense from Roman, and the reason for that is simple. Muterus is so hesitant to actually cross that mid to B smoke, to go over to B, to provide that assistance. You've got 2 kills. Look at Roman. He gets 1, repositions, beautifully done, peeks out again, takes down a second. There should never be a third player coming from window if your player is sitting inside CT spawn. That's the reason why they keep losing these 2v3s.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not like Forza are throwing the higher box smoke either.
Yeah.
So I think someone kind of needs to abuse that, get up on the little spot. I guess it's kind of difficult. You're easily tradable, I suppose. But like if you play really, really well, kind of patiently or whatever, and they're just not aware of the fact, it could be an easy double for you. Or even on the retake when the smoke is starting to dissipate, they still think they're safe from that angle, that kind of thing. Just a little thing that I think they could utilize, jumping up on that mid box.
Now, I shot from. Okay.
Unlucky.
I believe the term for that is assisted suicide, but now Forza comes through. It's a 4-on-4, and look, that the thing is though that suicide is actually really, really important, because if you're able to get down, that's a chance for a quick little headshot. The Deagles can do anything, but even so, at this situation, you don't have that much utility to get onto these sides. And as the flashbang goes out, it blinds 3 players. That's huge. That'll allow them to get the first, move on for more, and Arky's cleaning up the house. Now, in a 3 versus 1, they'll find the last, keep 3 players alive, solidify their economy just a little bit, but they can't prevent Forza from getting the bomb plant.
Yeah, I think although it ends comically, the goal of that run boost, that drop in towards CT, is to distract the 2 players that are playing on that A side, on that long side, as it were, because it got overlooked, but Kenzie hits a nice little 1D onto the player playing on ramp on that headshot angle, right? So, yeah, I think it does its job well, and then that therefore allows them to get the bomb down. Also, another interesting kind of tidbit, instead of smoking off middle, right, so the information is kept away and it's harder to land the tag, they both jump across at the same time, and as predicted, Sorty goes, whoa, you know, doesn't know who to go for, what's going on, it's completely catching him off guard. So that's interesting to hold on to a smoke for your mid player. It looks like Roman utilizing that on the double doors to have a slightly deeper one to keep the T's at bay.
Molotov goes outwards. Now, one thing that I have to say is very different from how Sol is playing their CT side compared to Forza is they are so spread apart. They're in triangle positions where you can somewhat support each other no matter what position they're coming from, but because of how little information Forza is giving away in towards mid and whatnot, it's very difficult. But Sesason peeks out, misses his shot. That looked like it was a sitter, and now Almazer moves past into the smoke. Sesason gets a no-scope.
What? He's still alive? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. What? My eyes deceived me on that one. What the hell has that man had for breakfast? Arky, meanwhile, finding 2 towards short like it's easy, and Sesason finds 3 kills in the round.
They don't lose a single player. like Arky should have died there. Sesason should have died there. They should have gotten the bomb plot. I don't know Counter-Strike.
I don't know, mate. The round peaks with him staying alive and no-scoping. That's why it's kind of like so weird to see.
Yeah.
You know, because that's the big moment, but that's the buy time. I'm eventually going to go down, guys, but I managed somehow to get a kill, and I've bought time for rotations to come in. Arky's had the individual moment towards short that kind of, you know, turns things around. But don't worry, guys, I'm going to die. You know, that's one of those moments where it's like, I'm dead. And then you just never die.
To save my op, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, oh my God, there's 3 long guys. I missed an easy shot. I'm dead on this repeat, but he just never dies. He just never dies. Oh my God.
Disgusting. It's beautiful stuff, though. You have to say now Forza are in the position where I'd say Sol was in the first map, but this could be an equalizer. And again, how many close maps are you going to lose as Forza before your mental is destroyed? Just a reminder to you guys, if you're just tuning in, Forza lost the first one in a 16-13 where they were making a huge comeback. Forza also lost 2 maps against Fun plus Phoenix today, one of which was 16-14, the other was 25-22. So you're getting to a point as Forza where at some point someone's mental has to give. And this is where it's up to Jerry to keep his team together, to corral the troops and see if they can get past Sesason. They've got the flashes to do it. This op should be disabled for a while. The question is, can Sesason manage a miracle regardless, as he so often has? Dodges the 1 flash, nades over, that'll slow them down nicely, gives him an opportunity to back off and find some safety. Does not want to reface, and that ends up being the wise decision, but there's no one from short from the CT side, which makes his retake a little bit tricky.
This is... Oh, I don't know. I feel like they should have played a little bit more aggressive. When they're on the pistols and whatnot, it's going to be deadly. It's a nice little Molotov to open things up. Flashes, of course, coming into play, but they want to swing in. They want to take these fights, and that can make them hard to deal with. At the moment, looking relatively good. There you go. Okay, sigh of relief has just collapsed on those final frags. Very nicely done indeed. But yeah, for just a second, it's kind of like, okay, there's all these pistols. They're posturing. They want to take the fights, and Saw might not be expecting that, running around corners with a few nades in hand and whatnot, right? So kind of a risky one to leave everyone alive in a round like that where you are against the Pistols. But at the same time, you don't want to be that player that goes down and then kind of allows Forza to snowball things.
Especially because one of the reasons why they're able to quickly come to the retake is because they have that much information. But now the round is quick, and we've got to be quicker. They've moved past the blue container already. And with long control completely forfeited, what's the play from Saw going to be? They've got to find another area off the map, and they know it's a short. Here we come. Stododo, meanwhile, left to be the guardian of Long. Can he actually guard it? As he has so many times.
Well, he's blessed by some kind of higher power, that's for sure. Certainly the sword of God or something along those lines, to be honest. It's looking really, really good in some of these rounds.
I'm just imagining like this sword of God who's just like, okay, no one buys my gun. You know what? Oh God, just move aside for a bit. Can I have like half of your weapon when it's not scoped?
You can just tell though the tension right now, you know. Nobody wants to fail their shot, miss their shot. They're all just holding angles rather than peeking into them. Smokes do come in. 35 seconds left. I mean, with those early smokes, it kind of gives the game away. 3 players ready and waiting here. Arky, a well-timed Molotov could really screw them over, actually. Yeah, I think this is going to split the team up, not allow them to plant in that optimal spot. Sorry, smoke goes in, but
double nades coming
I don't know, man. It's so risky.
That double nade gets so much damage, and Arky now comes in from the side, aggressing forward. He's had such a good game so far, and he'll continue to try do so, but can't find the kills as he's finally overwhelmed, and the T's are doing it. Roman alone versus 4 will contend, and now just run away, really. It's the only option he has in that situation, but it gets so close.
It does. It certainly does. But I think that harkens back to the previous round where they do it against the Pistols. Maybe there's, you know, an air of safety for them there because they trump the utility of the T side. But I think, again, playing things passively and going for a 5-on-5 retake, this time Forza are probably going to have learned the lessons from that previous round and then come to employ them into that there round number 27. I think, for my money, yes, it is a tense round. Yes, it is a difficult one, but maybe Stododo does indeed, as we were saying throughout, you know, needs to be the guardian of Long, needs to be a bit confident. We're kind of joking about it, but he's been playing there very, very well. And at the very least, putting a body in the way would have slowed Forza down a great deal.
And not just that, the fact that Arky isn't able to maintain the form that he's had for a couple of rounds, and he just can't get the kill on the ramp, that's deadly. After that, he's revealed his position. He's come out of his safe space in Little Cubby and Gandalf, and now it's at that point where he had to commit. He had to go into Goose. That's where he loses another deal. That's where he loses out the round for his team, pretty much. Now, Roman has been tagged up pretty handily early on. Not ideal, but Arky at least makes up for the previous round by diving into the pit, runs away, gets information as well. Molly goes over to keep his team in a position where they can assist him as they are retaking some control in Long. Good Molotov goes forward, but that didn't land.
Huh?
That actually
gone into the Shadow Realm.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there, to be honest, with that Molotov, but it's allowed Sorty to find a frag where maybe they didn't expect him to be. It leaves Arky unavailable. Stododo also goes down. And the 4-on-2 save, I think this is a call. A play for overtime from Saw. That's rough, because I don't really think it's all their fault. Certainly could have hit their shots or whatever, but I really do think they expected that Molly to be in play.
Yeah, I just think the Molly lineup was just a little bit off, because it's not actually possible from maybe I'm wrong about this. I'm sure Pilsky will let me know in the chat or something if I am, but I don't think it's actually possible to throw a Molotov that lands on the ground from that position. It has to pop in the air and then spread from the air to the ground in the way that Mollies do. So you have to be quite precise with how you're throwing that one.
Yeah. It's tough. It's definitely tough. But I guess they needed something a little bit risky to get
I think the setup
out
was
of there.
great, but just the Molotov doesn't land. And
yeah. And then swinging in, trying to bait out an AWP shot when it's 13-14 is a risky play, bro. I don't think you're going to be missing those kinds of shots, right? When the opportunity presents itself to take the round into your hands, you absolutely have to hit that if you're playing at this kind of level. So it's a risky jump peak type thing, to be honest.
So close.
So damn close. I think a shot almost hit Zorti as well off the top.
Yeah.
Trying to take some early fights, but nothing quite landing here.
And Sesason is now playing from mid. He has an opportunity to find something every time Forze have been contesting mid in some way or the other and finding damage, finding kills, finding something. But maybe this time they'll find an AWP bullet lodged inside their bodies. Not going in mid just yet. Sesason also doesn't want to rescope because it'll give his position away. So he ends up backing off in the meanwhile. Now, looks to be a B-side hit, and now it's a double smoke you were talking about, but the flashbang goes over, and can they find the first kill? Just needs to take down Flit, and he will do some damage, but not get the kill. Chasing afterwards while Roman takes another down in mid, and just now has to trail off to the backline of Cubby. Can't get the kill, and Almazir with 2 great entries will be able to take control. Forze are moving to 16, and Arky and Sesason just can't do anything to stop them.
No, I don't think so. 18 HP, just walks into the meat grinder. That will be that. And unfortunately, Saw on the comeback. They get a taste of their own medicine. They drop the ball at the very end. Forza will be taking us to a third map. But first, a quick break.